Doctors couldn't explain why this teen was always sick. Then he saw what the school had been serving. Headaches don't just cause pain in your head. You may feel a sharp pain, dull ache, or throbbing in various areas of your head. The pain can also affect your face and neck. A headache may seem like something adults complain about when they're stressed. However, headaches are one of the most common problems reported by children and teenagers. Nearly 75% of children have reported having significant headaches by the age of 15. Most headaches in teens are minor and can be easily treated. However, some headaches can be severe and may be a sign of a more serious condition. Some causes of headache are lack of physical activity, and one primary effect that we all know is not eating a balanced diet. Skipping meals and not eating a nutritious diet can contribute to headaches. Beth Paulette was a stay-at-home mom. She works like a normal career woman by showing unconditional love to her 2 sons. Her normal routine is to make sure that they are all bathed and dressed in the morning before sending them off on the school bus. They are currently enrolled in Virginia's King and Queen Central High School, where in theory, the boys were well cared for before getting back on the bus and coming home. However, this, Beth found, was not the case. It was then that she noticed her eldest son coming home every single day complaining about his headache. Beth felt worried. She gave him aspirin to provide temporary cure. Unfortunately, apart from her eldest, she noticed that her other teenage son is beginning to show the same symptoms. Being a mother who cares so much for her sons, she can't simply rely on aspirin every time they feel the pain, as it may start to have an effect on their bodies. Beth started getting concerned and decided to look for a long-term solution. She was a bit puzzled about why her 2 boys were constantly experiencing migraines every time they came home from school. Is it because of their homework? Were they properly hydrated? From there, Beth began watching her sons like a hawk. She triple-checked that they were getting enough sleep at night, reminding them to drink water and to make sure that they weren't faking the headaches. So to complete her investigation, she began to text them throughout the day, asking them for updates on how they were feeling. Until one day, weeks after the migraines surfaced, Beth and her sons were texting back and forth during their lunch period. Out of nowhere, she asks, "How was lunch?" And they sent her a picture in response. Upon receiving the picture, Beth wasn't able to hide her horrifying reaction. It was a pizza that looked like cardboard, spare ribs that had been burnt to a crisp, and several items she didn't even recognize because the meal was in such bad shape. That made perfect sense about their migraines. The boys had low blood sugar because they, like many others, found the food to be completely inedible. Aside from the fact that the food wasn't really nutritious, it was made heavy due to carbohydrates. It didn't offer a single vegetable either. Looking at what they were offering to the students, all the kids in the school would either eat unhealthy meals or will just skip lunch altogether. Furious with the state of the school lunch program, she told her boys she would rectify the situation. For her first action, she sought help from her fellow parents, asking to change the conditions of the lunch program. However, none of them wanted to extend help. She then thought of reaching out to someone who has a higher authority, and that was when Beth forwarded the pictures of her son's lunches to WTVR CBS 6 in the hope that producers and journalists would be just as appalled as she was at what the school was dishing out. The people at CBS 6, to Beth's relief, agreed that this food was bad. Knowing that every food they made is being served to kids, they need to make sure that it's healthy and worth it. One student, Precious Jackson, commented, "It looked so unappetizing I could not bring myself to eat it at all." With that being said, all the investigators started flipping stones, and it turned out Beth's kids weren't the only ones skipping meals. With a better understanding of the food situation, it was time for investigative journalists to talk to the school superintendent, Dr. Stanley Jones, whose responsibility was to ensure proper nutrition for their pupils. Apparently, journalists found that Dr. Jones was already aware of several problems regarding the school's cafeteria. The head of the school cafeteria has already been suspended after a series of complaints were filed. In the end, Dr. Jones did promise improvement. The cafeteria would no longer be serving up gruel, which would benefit not only Beth's sons, but every other student at King and Queen High School as well. All thanks to Beth, who is very eager to put an end to something that will cause even more trouble if there wasn't something done about it. It is indeed true that mothers know best.